Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Like scary movies.
Want some candy?
Welcome back, Candy Killers, to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast with the two horror podcast hosts that will not only give you the truth about horror movies, but about the lizard people that run the world. That's right. We're back with Oobliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb and myself, Screamin E from the Memphis Murdermen. And tonight, we are going to talk about a movie we both just saw that has been getting a shit ton of praise right off the bat. The 2022 psychological thriller horror movie type
it's a
thing.
Horror movie.
Yeah. I mean, it is, but we'll get into that. Fucking Parker Finn's Smile. But first, it's time for
Horror news. Bum, 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 bum.
That's right, horror news. Horror fucking news. And I have a couple things. Nothing
Cool.
too crazy, but do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. So as usual, NECA is killing it, and they have just dropped, I guess they're doing like a whole little campaign, 31 days, of October with little teasers and shit, but they just dropped a teaser for the Phantom of the Opera figure. I don't know if it's going to be an ultimate, like a 7-inch one, or if it's going to be a bigger one, because looks like it has a cloth little robe or jacket on. So that's cool. And I'm sure they'll be dropping a bunch of their other Universal monsters as well with a bunch of other cool shit. So that's cool. Go NECA. I love you.
Go
And all that
NECA.
Go NECA.
Go NECA.
And
Go NECA.
the other
Sorry.
thing that people are fucking
Carry on.
Go Oobs. Go Oobs. Go Oobs. Go Oobs. And NECA.
I
I
just can't help turning anything into a song. It's just
I mean,
a problem.
well, we are
My
musicians.
life is a
so-
musical.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Ooh, speaking of music, before I get to the other horror
Yeah.
news, Feldman is coming here in December.
Oh, you got to go.
I think
Do
I
it.
might.
You have to.
I think I
It's
might.
totally, it's really worth it. I'm so glad that my husband told me to stop being a pussy and like just go, because it was totally worth going.
Well, it's funny because my friend who now owns a couple bars out here, who's actually from near Pittsburgh, his, I guess, ex-wife now, separated wife, whatever they are, is like full blown. What do you call his followers? Feldmanites,
Like Feldsters?
Feldsters, Feldminians.
Yeah. That's what I would call them.
Yeah. But she went, I forget where the fuck she went to see him at. It wasn't close. But she's been like, oh my God. So like any update on him coming to town, she's on it. And I saw that, I was like, oh, it's like right up in Concord. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, that's like a good little lifeline to have, so you don't have to stay on top of the Feldster.
yes,
She can do it for you.
this is true. This is true. So yeah. So there might be some Feldster horror news part 2 in December.
Tell him I said hi.
Oh, I will. I'll bring you up. Like, remember you guys were talking about Gigi Allen? I'll bring that up because probably no one's ever brought that up to him.
Yeah,
So-
he did not seem like really happy when I brought up the shit part and Gigi Allen that
Yeah.
I like lost him in that part of the video.
Yeah. He was like, oh.
But-
so that's probably
but it was-
seared into his brain.
But it was almost funny too. Like he immediately got irked and was like, I mean, I don't know about that kind of stuff.
I'm like, yeah, you do. Yes,
And I
you
was like,
do.
really? I think you do, buddy.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
okay.
told
Yeah. Back to
he
horror
definitely
news.
does. Somebody has definitely shit on him, or he shit on at least
Yeah.
one person. I
Yeah.
bet money on it. I
Yeah.
bet money on it.
I think the odds are
Come
pretty
on.
good. I think the odds are pretty
They're
good for
good.
that. Yeah.
They're better than good.
Yeah. Um, so Robert Eggers' Nosferatu remake looks like
I
it's like,
saw
did you
this.
see this? Now,
I did.
thanks to John Squires, a bloody disgusting or guy, doing a little write up on it. Also bloody disgusting. Can you chill out with the fucking pop-ups? A little pop-up
Oh
player down
God,
with
I
articles
know
like every fucking time. I mean, I get it, it's money, but
so much.
it's annoying. Um,
Super.
yeah, I don't know. I'm typically against reboots, and this one doesn't seem to be any different. First of all, because Nosferatu is like a silent horror movie fucking like masterpiece.
Hmm.
And whenever they start saying, hey, pop up, get out of here. Reimagining that, oh man, that makes my dick soft. So what they're saying is in the new reimagining, the pick, he should have used the picture, is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman, Death, in 19th century Germany and the ancient Transylvanian vampire, who will be played by Peter Skarsgård, who stalks her, bringing untold horror with him. Now, I don't know.
I, I, I mean, he's a great actor.
Right.
I
Nothing
mean,
against him.
I,
Nothing against him or what's her nuts? Lily Rose Depp. But ooh.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if anyone could do it, I would want to see either him or like someone like Willem Dafoe do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean,
Yeah, like
but like he out of that whole family of actors, he definitely I think has the most like dramatic grasp and range.
oh for sure.
They're all great and they're all great in their own ways, but he like the roles he's picked and the movies he's chosen to do are definitely like a lot more out there and kind of weird.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the actors will do a bad job. I think it's just going to be too much. I think they're going to really dramatic it up a little bit, and it's going
Well,
to
they
lose.
need to not, they're going to art house it,
Yeah, oh yeah,
which I mean, it is,
right.
but it wasn't necessarily intended to be, I guess. Or at the time, I don't know that it probably felt like that. At the time, it probably felt like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think just because it was a silent film, like that's a big part of the beauty of it is that it's kind of just simple in
Hmm.
stage play. Whereas I don't, I mean, Dracula has been made 1,000 times, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll both see it, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
no, I just think it's going to be a fucking lead fart.
It could very well be.
It'd be great if it wasn't. That'd be awesome. I'd be really excited, but my hopes are not high. So, so yeah, that's all I got for horror news. Take it away, Oubliette.
I just realized, did you end up watching Crimes of the Future since
Mm,
we were talking about art house garbage?
I feel like I feel like I did.
The new David Cronenberg? I watched it and I talked about how we should do an episode on that
Right,
movie.
right.
And I feel like you watched it and then we never talked about it again. Maybe it has some sort of power of erasing our.
Yeah. If I did, I completely don't remember it. So, uh,
It was Viggo Morrison and Kristen Stewart.
hmm. Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell. Maybe I didn't, or maybe I started to,
Hmm.
and I don't know.
Eh, well,
We'll have to revisit that.
okay. Yeah. Anyhow, um, so I won't start out with my real life horror news,
Yes, yes. See,
which is becoming a theme on
I
this show
know.
now. Apparently we need another segment that's called Oobs Real Life Horror News.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
or I mean we can include you in it too, but
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
we need horror news and then real life horror news. So in not
Well, I
my
don't do
life horror
anything, so
news.
like, there's not a whole lot of horror news. If it's not here, work or the gym or like the occasional show, then you know,
Dude, you do more than I do, probably.
I don't know.
I like maybe once every 2 months I do something social.
I try not to.
Same. Like I like my house and my husband and my dogs. So like
Yes.
I'm cool. Well, actually today, so there's these mines that are called the Widow Jane Mines near where I live, and
Hmm.
they have like concerts and all kinds of stuff in there, which I didn't know, but a friend of mine played a show there and I missed it because I don't do anything. And but it prompted me to look up their site, and they were doing the original Broadway script of Dracula.
Oh, all right. That sounds
So
pretty cool.
so so I went and saw that today. It was actually really interesting. So like I knew Ed Gorey did like a version of the stage at one point, and Raul Julia was in it. So like this is pre that, and it's super interesting how they like so like people always complain that they read a book and then the movie fucks it up.
Right.
They made lots of edits like that for this Broadway script. So it's so weird. So like in Dracula, if you're familiar, you've got Jonathan Harper who is engaged to Mina.
Hmm.
Then you have Lucy, who's like the redhead, and she has three men that are courting her.
That's into
But the one
bestiality.
that's right, exactly. Um, and the main one that really is like into her is a doctor, and he's like trying to figure out what's going on, and she ends up getting kind of taken by Dracula, this affliction
Right.
first. So
Oh, Affliction. Remember that
because
clothing company?
oh God. When I started dating my husband, he had two affliction shirts
Oh
and he let
no.
me he let me throw them away. That was like the
Good.
first gift he ever gave me.
Good. It's a good
Um
gift.
but anyways, so Dracula had been a production but not on Broadway. So the guy who was paid to put it on Broadway decided that it had too many characters because it had like 11 characters and he wanted to cut it down to 6.
Okay.
So the doctor that was courting Lucy, they made and turned him into Lucy's dad, who's a doctor, and made him also the doctor that is taking care of Renfield.
Right.
Yeah. And they they swapped Lucy and Mina.
Hmm.
So Mina is dead, like how Lucy was killed, and they end up like killing talking about how they like find her and she's undead and kill her. And then Jonathan Harper is Lucy's fiance. So I'm watching it and I'm like,
Just confused.
did
Like,
the
what the fuck is going on?
well, I was like, I remember reading the book and I remember when I saw, the Gary Oldman Winona Ryder movie, not thinking it deviated very far from the book. And I
Right.
was like, did I never notice that maybe the movies swapped the girls? And so I had to wait until after the production and I looked it up, but it was like all these decisions this director made just to cut the cast size. But it's so weird because you could have cut the cast size and actually kept the same story because so much of like the story was in the past in this
Right.
production. I don't know. It was super weird, but it was cool. It was really cool to see it in a cave or like a mine, and they
I saw your pictures. That looked
they
pretty cool.
yeah, they had speakers all through it. And my favorite part was right in front of us. You bring your own chairs
Hmm.
because it's like
Right.
wet and muddy. So right in front of us, this couple, like they had to be in their 90s, like at least like where they looked bad for 80. But the the
Or they were
woman
real
playing
vampires.
Lucy, yeah, the woman playing Lucy screams a lot in it. And this particular time she screamed was like after a lot of silence. And she like shrieks, and this old man in front of me is like, "What'd you have to do that for?" And he like punches the air. like literally like
Like,
all of a sudden
"Meh."
he's having like a Vietnam flashback or something, but he like starts punching the air. And his wife looks at him, and I shit you not, she just says, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he's like, "Don't get on my shit. I was sleeping. I don't care about this anyway." And then he just puts his head back down and goes back to sleep.
Yeah, I
But it was
mean,
the cute, it was the
understandable.
cutest, most lovely thing I've seen. I just looked at my husband and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be us in like 40 years."
That
But
is nice, you
when he
know?
punched the air, it was just it made the whole like yeah, that was the best part of the whole
Like,
thing.
get off my lawn. Damn
Yeah.
kids.
Um, so my horror news is I just read that Sam Raimi,
Ooh.
oh, is remaking, talking about remakes.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a film called Magic. And it's about a ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah, I heard about I read a little bit about this, but I never saw the movie.
Yeah, so Anthony Hopkins is the main character. I saw it as a child and it terrified me. I don't know if it would now, but I'm kind of curious.
Or at least I don't
And
think I did.
it's
Oh.
weird. It's very 70s. Um, and yeah, the reason I remember it is because the like magician's name is Corky, and I remember someone like cracking a joke because it was
Right.
similar to my birth name. Um, anyhow, Roy Lee is producing it, and he's the one who just did Barbarian and
Hmm.
Don't Worry, Darling. But apparently, there's a lot of excitement and some hype around it. Um, that, and then I read that fucking Eli Roth is partnering with 50 Cent to do a trilogy,
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, Jesus Christ.
which is like not great news, but
Yeah, I
whatever.
mean, I don't know. Yeah,
Um,
whatever. They're just looking for
yeah,
money and doing whatever they want, apparently, which is good for them, I
no,
guess.
totally.
Whatever. Uh,
But yeah.
well, I
So
mean,
my real,
oh, I was gonna say, I mean, Sam Raimi, I'm not mad at any of his stuff really. He typically does a good job at whatever.
yeah.
So,
No, I'm excited about it, and I also saw that the new Guillermo del Toro project dropped a lengthy
yeah.
trailer today, but I haven't watched it yet.
And
Um,
him
he's
doing
like
a
hit or
re
miss with me.
right. Raimi doing a remake of some ob I don't know if it was obscure. I just never saw it, but some weird fucking 70s movie. Like that's the
It's
shit you should
weird.
remake. Yeah, that's what you should remake. Be like, "Oh, that movie is fucking weird." Or some like super deep cut that not many people know about or could have been good. Let's redo that. But they just love redoing awesome stuff. I mean, I get it. The money
Yeah.
grab is there for sure, but whatever. Go
I
Raimi.
mean, I'm excited to see what he does with something like this
Right.
because I really feel like he could make it. Um,
Because he's weird too.
I
So,
mean, well, he could really make this his own because it's
yeah.
very creepy but quirky,
Right.
from what I remember. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Um, and then the best thing, like the best horror news I have is the fact that like my local movie theater right now has more horror movies than any other genre like of new movies, which it seems like it's been years since there's been even like coming up on Halloween season a time where there's three or four horror movies in like a theater at
Right.
once.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of them are good, but it's nice.
It's something. Yeah. The one down the street on my little island, for whatever, like they'll get horror movies every once in a while because they don't want that sort of element coming into the theater or at the theater, whatever element
Oh
that
yeah,
is.
like
Like,
rapey,
yeah,
like
I mean Pearl,
perverts,
yeah, Pearl wasn't there for sure.
Oh, weird. Because
Yeah,
that's kind of more on the artsy. Like you see that at a lot of the independent theaters that don't really. do more.
Right. And not a lot has been there. Like they'll do like monster movies like King Kong versus Godzilla. Like they'll do shit like that. But
Those are like blockbusters.
yeah, and they're not.
Like
It's
they
not
would
like
lose money not doing that.
yeah, it's not like super slasher or like super gory or anything. So
Right.
I'm bummed. Get it together.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That is a
good.
bummer because I have to say I like really missed going to the theater. Um, and especially now, I mean, I don't know how the theater where I live stays open because there's never more than 10 people at any showing or like maybe 15 even on like opening nights. But
Yeah,
if
that'd
they
be
can
great.
stay open with that, then I'm cool with it
Hell yeah.
because the seats heat up and they recline and they've got good popcorn and yeah, I really miss the theater. So
Yeah.
it's been nice. And it forces me to not turn the movie off halfway through,
Yeah. Yeah, that's also a
which is
thing.
like maybe good sometimes.
Yeah, I love going to the theater. I just hate having to travel really far, unless it's to something like the one that's up in Orinda that does all the old horror movies, like them and shit,
Yeah,
which I just saw. And
totally.
like that's fine, but just like, for a
That's
new
like
release,
an event.
yeah, like for a new release, and it sucks because it's like they spent 2 years getting us kind of used to being able to stream it right away.
Right.
And now they're pulling back, which I'd much rather go see a movie in the theater if it's something I want to see. But if it's
Totally.
something that's not, like if we're gonna do it, or if it's like, oh, everyone's talking about this, maybe we should do an episode on it. Like I would rather not spend the fucking whatever $13 it is to fucking, plus
Yeah, but
popcorn and
man,
all that shit.
I know, but with everything else in the world costing so much more, I feel like movies are cheap as shit
Oh
comparatively.
yeah, they are. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like at the end of the day, I'm willing to like buy all the popcorn and movie tickets because everything else just fucking
yeah.
sucks and is super
I
expensive.
mean, for
But
two
yeah,
people or even one, like $25 for drink, popcorn, fucking ticket. That's like it's a good deal. 50 for like a date, you know?
yeah, I
That
mean, if we go out to eat, we're spending 60 at a reasonably priced place. If
oh
we're
yeah.
going somewhere, we're ordering like dessert and drinks, we're spending 100 or more,
Oh, for sure.
um, easily. So for me, and even the fucking bowling alleys and stuff, it's like
Mm-hmm.
we'll drop a bill playing a couple of games and like drinking a pitcher of beer. So movies, at least our theater is like the one thing that hasn't increased in price, and you use your little membership card and all of a sudden you have
See?
like free stuff. And I bought that big plastic bucket
That's
that
right.
lasts you a year. I've
Yes.
never bought one before. And I was like, you know what? We went to the movies in February and I was like, fuck it. This thing's lasts for a year. They fill it up for $6. It's great.
Can't beat that.
Yep.
Can't beat that.
Thrifty movie.
There you go.
But
You got to.
and there are certain movies that obviously the big action movies and stuff you want to see in the theater, but I
Yeah.
have to say movies like the one we're talking about today, I also think are better to see in the theater. Like if you're watching a movie with cheap jump scares at
Oh yeah.
home, like I know when that stuff is going to happen and I know how I can turn down the volume and like check my phone and whatever and tap out because it's going to
Right.
happen. I don't really want to because nobody actually wants to have a jump scare.
Right.
Uh, but in the theater, it's fucking there
Yeah. I mean, it's part of
and
the
it's all
experience.
around you.
Yeah.
Right. And I appreciate that
Totally.
because it lets me not be a wuss and not experience it. Because I totally will be a wuss and turn
That's
the
all right.
volume down on my TV at home and like start reading a magazine or checking my phone. So
That's fine. You're allowed to. It's okay.
it's a coping mechanism, okay?
Yes. Oh yeah. We'll talk
Oh,
about those
there.
too.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I'm not going to talk about my real horror news until we talk about the movie
right.
because
I figured.
it will actually ruin. I thought about it and it will ruin it.
Yeah.
Not
So
ruin it, but it just wouldn't be cool. It'd
Right.
be lame.
All right. Well, let's get done. And this has been yeah, it's been horror news, bitches.
It has been. You want to do it? You want me to do the synopsis?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see if the synopsis is any good or if I should just ad lib it. We'll see what happens here. So, after witnessing a bizarre and you know what? I'm not going to read this. I'm giving you my own synopsis. Fuck this. I'm not reading anything. Fuck you, internet. So, this movie is about a woman who is a psychiatrist in a emergency hospital. So people that are like fucking about to kill themselves, freaking out, whatever, having episodes.
With the most
She-
vomit pink paint job ever.
Oh, dude, that hospital is so.
It
That
was
room
ugly.
does not calm. It was like the calm room was not calm.
Uh-uh.
But anyways, after an exceptionally long shift, she experiences this super weird interaction with a med student who ends up killing herself in front of the doctor. After telling her a story about seeing random people and also dead people smiling at her. She thinks it's some kind of evil entity, whatever. After this chick kills herself, the doctor starts seeing the same shit. Basically, after that, the movie is The Ring,
Yeah.
but it's also a like statement about, at least in my opinion, about like mental problems.
Oh, yeah. Yes. It was 1,000%. Yeah. So yeah, it was 2022, and the director Parker Finn and wrote the screenplay and had Kevin Bacon's daughter in it. And
Edie Sedgwick, right?
uh
Or what's
so,
what's his
Sosie Bacon.
wife's name? I know, but
Oh,
Kevin Bacon's wife.
I don't know.
It's Edie Sedgwick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think. No, you have to look it
Yeah.
up. But also had
Kira
the dude.
Sedgwick.
Yeah, Kira.
Kira Sedgwick.
Also had the
That's
dude
it.
from the boys, Jesse T.
Yeah.
Usher, which I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff, but
No.
does
I
he
hate him in this.
yeah, does he not ever play a fucking character that's just not just
He
annoying?
plays himself. He's one of those people I've seen him in The Boys, this, and one other movie, and it's always the same dickbag character.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
in this, they live in a big ass house, and she's basically they comment about how she's working almost for free, so the house has to be his. So he's basically playing the same dickbag he plays kind of in
Yeah.
The Boys.
Yeah.
But
So
I mean, if you do one thing good, then
Yeah.
whatever.
hey, why
Or
not?
do one thing kind of okay.
Why
He's like my least
not?
favorite Boys character.
Oh yeah, he's such a dick.
Well, no, I mean just compared to like the depth of every other character, his character
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah.
just like they
It's
could kill him off and the show would be it'd be fine.
yeah, and and he made it through a lot. Like how?
Yeah.
Um,
No, dude.
yeah, okay.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode. What? So Oubliette made me go watch this again, like she does so many other movies.
I
We got
mean,
to see.
did I really make you?
I mean,
I suggested you should because I saw it. And we
your
should
power
do
of
it. And
suggestion is so
you make me do this podcast.
good.
So.
Like, do it, Oubliette, or else.
I'm like,
First-
look, if I'm doing monster candy, it's gonna be on my motherfucking terms. Okay. And I saw this movie and I want to talk about it. So it's either
There you
you
go.
talk about it with me or I do an alone episode like
Oh.
you've done before and I talk to myself.
There you
'Cause I
go.
totally will.
Yeah. I mean,
And that would actually fit for this one.
yeah, right. It would be perfect. So, can I say movies take so long to get to the fucking title? nowadays. Like I get the, maybe a couple minutes of lead up and then you get the little title fucking card. But like that's one of my favorite things. And it seems like they're getting longer and longer and longer. I'm like, fucking get to
See,
it already.
I kind of like it.
I don't like it when it's too long. Like give me a couple minutes and I'm cool. But this seemed to just like go on and on and on and on and on.
Well, I mean, okay. But I have to say, I felt like this movie had a pretty good pace and it didn't have a long runtime.
Yeah. I mean, it was a well done movie. I will definitely give it that. And it had Kumar in it.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah, but he was like so serious and like, I'm
yeah.
a fucking boss doctor and I'm gonna be your boss and tell you you can't work 50 hours in a day.
But also
And if
kind
you're
of
going crazy, you can't be in here screaming at patients.
like,
Fuck that guy.
yeah, he
He was
was,
like the fun police.
but he was like, I don't know. His delivery was weird. He was like trying to be serious, but also it was not like executed well. I
That
don't
is
know.
every time he has a regular serious role. It seems like that, like you're waiting for him to crack a fucking joke.
Yeah, it
And
was
then he
weird.
does it, and you're like, why aren't you being funny?
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
So, but
that's what you're
you know,
supposed to do.
that was cool. It also had what's her name? Turkleton's girlfriend slash wife, whatever from Scrubs in it. She was the wife of the doctor of the teacher that killed himself in front of the chick, who then killed herself in front of the therapist chick that she went to see.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
And Sosie Bacon was
And
oh good.
did you ever watch Deadwood?
No, no, I did not watch Deadwood.
Oh.
Was she in there?
Well, the psychologist was
Oh,
Jane.
right, right. Yes.
What the fuck is her nut dumb name? Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane. Right. I did see pictures of her though. That's where because I was like, who is this chick? She looks super familiar. So that's probably where I saw at least some pictures of her. Yeah, Sosie Bacon was like the most anxious, even before all the shit went down, was like the most anxious therapist ever. Like
Well, I think
she didn't
that
make me feel calm at all.
well, remember they said she was on like she had been there from the night before.
Right.
So that I think is kind of part of it. Like she was so her mother, for the listeners, was had some mental problems and ended up killing herself. So this young girl, um, or she was a young girl when it happened. So she grew up to be a psychiatrist kind of because of that. So I think her drive to just like help people wasn't based on calmness. I think it was like she felt like she couldn't function unless she was helping people.
Yeah. Which also
And
makes you wonder like how many therapists are just fucking whack jobs.
oh, most. I mean, if you read about it, a lot of them get into therapy from being in therapy.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I could see that.
And so, yeah, but
I
I
mean,
mean, people, but that those, honestly, it means they kind of do have more experience with it. But this was definitely a statement as to how quickly that could unravel.
because I mean, can you imagine? Like, we all help friends. Oh, you have some trouble here, talk to me. It's fine, like whatever. But dude, could you imagine just having people dump their shit on you for like 8, 10, 6 hours a day, like whatever it is, just like every day?
Yes,
Oh,
because that is the least favorite part of my job, managing a
well, yeah.
company.
I mean, yeah,
Oh
when I
no,
was,
I'm serious. I make jokes that I should charge people for fucking therapy.
oh,
2 hours of my day, almost every day, is this shit. And I'm like,
oh, I know how it is. I used to have to deal with it when I ran the shop. You'd come in here and you start to get regulars, and then they would just start telling you their problems, and you're like, oh man, that sucks.
oh
Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm talking about my staff.
Well, I got random strangers that
Yeah.
decided that they would
No,
talk to me all the time.
no, same. Yeah, yeah. When I was a bartender and a server,
Yeah.
totally, or even like a manager on the floor. But like, luckily, like I'm not really customer facing anymore. So instead, like, have to deal with like people I work with shit. Like if they're not doing what they're supposed to, I have to hear like hours of, why they're
Why?
not doing it because like their dog shit on the floor and they're cheating on their wife and
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
okay. I'm like, okay, so I actually just need this report. Like, I don't give a fuck. So whenever
I
you can
don't
get it,
care
that would
about your
be
fucking life. You're at work.
great. I mean, some people I do, but a lot, like, no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I get
I fucking pay you to give me what I need. So like,
it.
I don't,
Give
I
me the
don't know
fucking
what
TPS
the
report and
problem
shut
is.
the fuck up.
Or like, I'll listen to your problems if you give me what I'm fucking asking for.
Right.
But just like, give me the shit I need first, and then I'll listen to your bullshit.
There's a trade-off. There's always a trade-off.
Right. All right. So I just have to jump back to something that I just realized that you knew a full name from a cast member on Scrubs, their character name. Are
Turk
you,
Turkleton.
yeah, are you into Scrubs, E?
No, but that's such a funny
Because
name.
that's like really weird
It's
for
just a funny
you.
name.
I feel
And
like I
it's
feel like you're deflecting now. Let's sit down and talk about
let's have
this.
a therapy session.
Yeah.
But and I just watched uh
Do you
Clueless.
relate to Turk?
Clueless. So I was like, oh, that's Turk Turkleton. It was his funny name. But
Right.
yeah, I remember him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever she was.
Carla Espinosa.
Yeah, there you go. So I remember Turk Turkleton and I remember her.
It seems to me that you watch Scrubs.
I mean, I have watched it. I
Mhm.
was not a like a devout
Like a
watcher of it.
scrubber.
Yeah, I was not a scrubber, but
Okay.
I did scrub every so often.
I mean,
Um,
TLC tried to warn you about that.
this is true. I don't want to scrub. But yeah, bottom line is me and Oubliette should be your therapists because we'll get shit done. We don't want to hear the
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, like waterboarding, effective, right?
Totally. Totally.
Fear up, fear down, aggression, manipulation.
Yeah.
I know like all 13 interrogation techniques, which are also like really relative to therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. They definitely are. Not that I've ever been in therapy, but from what I hear, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, this movie like it's The Ring. It's The Ring.
it's a few movies.
There's like a cycle. So just so everyone, well, we're gonna spoil it like we always do, but that's why you're listening. Hopefully you've already seen it. If not, whatever. But the whole cycle is if you see this person kill themselves, then you basically have 4 days to a week and you're gonna do the same, and whoever witnesses that on and on. Everyone who does it or like sees it describes it as like right before the person kills themselves, they kind of don't become themselves. They're super happy, free, smile, kill themselves in like a super gross way. The only person who broke the chain was an accountant who killed someone else, but he killed them in the most brutal way he could think of, and their spouse watched it. So he didn't die, but he's in prison. And
In
the
Altoona,
spouse like
Pennsylvania.
went in the chain, which is
Right
where my
out
husband grew up.
right outside of Pittsburgh. I was like, what's up, PA?
Yeah, so my husband's from Altoona.
Yeah.
That's where he was born. So of
So
course when that happened, I pointed at him.
right, you're like, ugh.
Hometown.
You, you
Hometown,
know,
buddy.
I mean, I don't know. It was a I've seen this online too that it follows in another movie. I mean, it's a bunch of other movies.
I still haven't watched It Follows.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the same thing except that,
It was too hyped up for me. So
yeah,
I
it's not
didn't
it
I didn't
it's not
do
that
it.
good. Yeah, and holy jump scares Batman. Like I'm good with a jump scare. Some jump scares here and there,
So
but this was
I
like
miss
perf
jump scares, so I was happy about it.
yeah, this is profusely. This is just oozing jump scares all over the place.
There
So
was like three.
there was like maybe three times like 10. It was throughout the whole movie.
No, there was three. And
There
I'm a
was
baby about that.
there
But
was a
you know
lot.
what pisses me the fuck off is the one with the sister. there's literally a picture of what happens on the front page of like every news article about this movie. And I was
Hmm.
like, why can't you guys just leave it the fuck alone?
Right.
Like that part was actually really cool, I thought, just because it's so like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then they have to ruin it. Like my news feed today was just pictures of her head hanging like that. And I'm like, why would you like
Dude,
what the fuck? What the
nothing's
fuck?
sacred anymore. They all gotta. I mean, it's the same when fucking the like reviews of the movie come out a week before it fucking opens.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know. But
you know, I don't know.
I will say this, like in this movie, the main actress, I thought she was fantastic and I want to see her in more stuff. Only because like when she had her shit together, her facial expressions, like her demeanor, her body language were so different than when she was breaking down. And then like at the end, after she thought she was kind of like out of the house, she went right back to how she was at the beginning. And it was really cool to kind of see it. Like there's parts in that movie, like
Right.
when her hair's down and she's around like her mom ghost or whatever, and everything else where she looks, I mean, like facially and physically different.
Right.
Like you wouldn't even think it was the same person, and that is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for sure. You know, a testament to her. Um,
Right.
which was
But
cool.
it had that 90s feel though.
A little bit, and it also had the feel that everyone keeps their fucking lights off in the house when they're home alone, and no one does that.
Dude. Oh my God. So the one part that pissed me off beyond belief was when she gets in her bed and I think she has a book or oh no, she takes out her laptop to start looking up
Mm-hmm.
stuff and like in the closet she thinks she sees like a figure smiling or whatever, or like it looks like there
Right.
might be a figure. So instead of doing what any fucking person in the world would do and turn on all the lights
All of them.
and get out of your bedroom because your husband who's pissed at you is sleeping in the living room, I would have just slept on the other fucking couch in there with all the lights
Right.
on.
Right.
She literally closes her fucking laptop and turns off all the lights and goes to sleep
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
tries to sleep. But like, what the fuck? I am somebody who sleeps with a nightlight. Like, so I can't even.
Boy, it's been a thing, and I
No.
mean, I get it. It's a horror movie, so they want to make it scary or whatever. But it's been like a thing lately in these movies where I get it. If it's like a bigger house, yeah, you're not going to have the fucking upstairs lights on or fucking like whatever. But typically, you'd have more than one tiny little dimly lit light on in the room you're in, and then everything else off. Like you're going to have some big ass lights on, at least in one room.
Well, I mean, I don't know. My house, so I don't know why, but my husband hates overhead lighting.
Right.
And I thought it was so weird, but now I don't like it either. When I walk in somewhere and it's there in someone's house, I'm like, ugh, ugh. Like, why is it so bright in
Yeah.
here? But like, I mean, you can see because we see each other right now. Like, I
Yeah.
still have like
Yeah. It's a lit
lights,
room.
one in each quarter. Like,
Yeah.
it's dim, but I can see everything.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
there aren't fucking parts of the room that are dark shadows where I can't see shit. Like, I can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. That annoyed me. I'm like when she was on the fucking on her computer listening to the fucking thing and like
Oh
all the
my
other lights are
God.
off. I'm like,
Ugh,
you're freaking out already and you're gonna
same.
sit there in the fucking dark. Like that was
No,
super annoying.
same.
So annoying. But
And her house isn't even like an open concept house. Well, like where if she had the lights on, it would disturb her husband sleeping in the bed.
right.
It's like there was a
Right.
hallway into that room.
Right.
You could have fucking lights on and no one would know.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. I agree. And it
And
yeah,
that
it
was the scene that had the fucking jump scare that I jumped out of my like that was the only one that got me, only because I did not expect that kind of jump scare. I was expecting like something, but
yeah.
But yeah, it gave my husband a good laugh
Yeah, I mean,
because I actually like, yeah,
it
I jumped a bit.
this is one of those movies that, like the Babadook, but it did a much better job of it. Of like, oh, is it
Yeah.
just like a metaphor? Like, okay, this was obviously a metaphor for mental health, but it just did a better job of it than the Babadook. But
Yeah.
man, it's just like I'm getting really tired of these type of movies. I'm like, it would have been cool if it was actually like a curse and there was like some sort of backstory or origin to it. But instead,
I
because
mean, it might have been. It might
I
have
don't
been like
know.
the cop was there and she got files and stuff.
Yeah, but
Allegedly.
yeah, but
But
yeah, I don't know.
honestly, I don't even care. I feel the opposite. Like I understand that
Hmm.
like what you're thinking, but I don't know, like growing up, I had a friend's mom who got diagnosed schizophrenic and she said she saw like demons and shadows everywhere. And I remember being like, man, I would just fucking like kill myself or
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh, I
like
mean,
I would like beg my family to be like, get me fucking sleeping pills or like whatever. Like I need to get the fuck out of here. And this movie, like all the other stuff, thinking of it as a curse, like it was I liked the movie, it was good, but actually thinking of it as like maybe this is what it's like to lose your mind, that is fucking scary.
yeah. No, I mean it did the job. It's just you knew what it was from the minute it started, and I'm just like, man, I want to see. I'd like to see like an actual, just straight up, like spooky movie with ghosts and shit, instead of this because I already
Yeah.
knew what it was. I'm like, oh, oh, that's what it is. All right. I mean, whatever.
But I mean, the trauma thing I think is like really prevalent in society, so it's easy to kind of do that. I mean, even The Dark and the Wicked, like we both loved
Yeah.
that, and that even had some of, like the demons or devil feeds on trauma kind of
Yeah.
context.
Which that movie is still the best movie that's done anything like that. That's married the
Totally.
two. Like it's totally a supernatural
Yeah.
fucking horror movie, but it also puts in the fucking, the paranoia, the am I going fucking crazy? Like what the fuck is going
Oh
on
yeah.
aspect into it. So I don't know. Maybe that just set the bar so high for me that anything that tries to marry the two, I'm
Same.
like, you almost had it, almost,
Yeah.
but you're still a little too heavy handed on the metaphor part of what's going on.
No, totally. Like that one did it so well. And especially the scene like with the father when he goes back home with the
Oh
kids and the
yeah,
wife.
yeah,
Like I wish every director that tried or writer that tries to do movies like this would watch that movie
yeah,
and how they did that and the application there because that seems so right.
yeah.
And it was like completely fucking heartbreaking in the best way.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's like
Like
the fucking
the second you realize what's going on, you're just like, fuck.
right.
Oh no. Like
Because you're kind of thinking it when he comes in, you're like, wait, could be, but then you're like, oh no, no, like he's legit seeing this. And then it
yeah.
takes you right back to like, oh no, he's not. And you're like, fuck, that would suck. And then
Yeah.
like when his family comes in, and they're like, oh my God. And he's just sprawled out, bleeding
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's so fucking
Yeah.
good.
That's so
Like
good.
like I would have loved to see some of the people who worked on that work on this.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think with some tiny small tweaks, I think they relied too much on having really good actors, which is great
Yeah.
that they had good actors. But like The Dark and the Wicked had these great theater actors
Hmm.
and they still didn't like compromise the integrity of the film and just like rely on them. Like they wrote great
Yeah,
parts for them.
the writing was real
If they
good.
would have written this a little better, they had the talent to execute it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everyone in it, other than the cop, he just seemed like a 15-year-old that like was on a boardwalk and found one of those like, fortune telling machines
Yeah.
and put in a quarter, and then all of a sudden he was an adult.
He didn't seem like a cop to me. I mean, I'm not a huge
Well,
fan of that actor anyway, but he was not.
I
There
don't
was
even
no
know who the fuck
authority
he
in him.
is.
He's
Well, there was There was no authority.
Yeah.
He he wasn't so when there's an ex that might become like the one who saves the day, they need a lot more I don't know, everything.
Yeah, well, he was in Scream, the one we just watched, the new one.
Who was he in that?
Vinchinelli. I think that's the boyfriend that got stabbed in the neck. The ex.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
He's been
that's
in not
his
yeah.
thing. But he has like this dirt stash and like
Yeah.
looks like he hasn't hit puberty. It's just
Yeah.
weird to me. Like I know, I don't know. It just like he didn't seem comforting. He didn't seem there was no sex appeal. And that's what's weird too. Like, she has two men kind of vying for her attention, and then obviously one when she kind of goes off the deep end wants nothing to do with her. But like they didn't play on that at all. Like there
Yeah.
was no sexual tension or like that, and like
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like that should have been brought in more for the
I didn't get
storyline.
any
Otherwise,
sort
it
of
just like
yeah, I didn't get any
it's
sort of
superficial.
inclination that they had dated prior. Like when he was like talking to her and she's kind of blowing him off or whatever. He
See, I
just seemed
did.
he just seemed like to me like just some dude who's trying to get at her,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, he probably wasn't the best for that role. But I mean, I don't know.
I
There's
think even her fiance, it was like there was, I don't know. I
yeah,
feel like that, like both those guys, it was just like misplaced.
yeah,
And
it
they
was
could have not even been there and it would have been the same movie. It could
mhm,
have been chicks playing this, like it could be anyone,
yeah.
could have been a roommate or like
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah, it was very
It
cold
was just,
relationships or connections
right.
between both guys and her. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. The one cool thing though, the burning, a little nod to the burning made its way into another movie when the guy fucking
Mhm.
in the parking lot at the gas station stuck himself with the
Yep.
shears. I was like, Jesus Christ, we just talked about that. I forget what other movie that was in, but I was like, burning. But so
Yeah.
that was cool.
I appreciate the brutal kills.
Yeah, yeah, the gore was fun. I didn't
It was very
appreciate
mild, but
yeah. Yeah, which is fine.
for
You don't
me,
yeah, you
but
don't need to have a lot. It doesn't need to be like torture porn for me
But then I
anyway.
also told a friend, they're like, oh, I like stuff that's like jump scary and kind of paranormal. Should I see it? I don't really like gore. And I was like, you'll love it. Like, there's only one really gory thing. And then she saw it and was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the whole movie was gory. And I'm like, no, it was
I
only
mean
the
not
opening scene.
yeah, not really.
Everything, I mean, there was pictures of stuff and
Yeah.
like even the video of the guy at the gas station. I mean,
Yeah.
his back is
It was
turned.
yeah, it was a lot of
It's like
implied stuff.
it's
Yeah.
implied gore,
Yeah,
which
which is
to me is not
I
gore.
like that. Yeah, I like that and
Huh.
I prefer
Same.
it sometimes. I did not appreciate the horror movies always fall into this trap where like one movie does these effects and then everything else just follows. Like the ghost mom fucking trauma demon was very similar to the it naked lady. And it's just like, man,
You know what else it reminded me of? The Conjuring 2.
yeah, yeah, that too. I mean, there's a
That
lot.
weird fucking thing.
Yeah, yeah,
That was so dumb.
yep.
Hated that thing.
And I mean, it's just annoying because there's so much shit you could do. Like you have professional artists and people that think up this shit. You can think of something.
Yeah.
That bugged me a little bit. What I might have like zoned out for a minute, but when she got to her old house,
Mm-hmm.
did she like lose her phone or throw it away or something? Because she was looking for a fucking flashlight and it's 2022 and all phones have flashlights built in them.
Yeah, and then she finds that lantern and lights it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Well, it's because the reason was because she knew the sun was going to go down and the electricity was off. But that is the part that pissed me off. There is a fucking house that's
Right.
abandoned that your sister wants you to sell, that your mom died in, that you haven't been in how long? And the first thing you do when you open the door is flip the fucking switch
Right.
to see if the electricity is on when
Like
you
you,
own the
yeah,
property.
it's not on. No.
Yeah, are you paying a fucking electric bill? No, there's no
Yeah.
electricity. That's
Yeah.
how life works, especially somebody who's a fucking psychologist.
Yeah.
Like, you
Well,
went to school for how long and you don't realize that the
she
electricity
was,
is not going to be on?
yeah, I guess she wasn't thinking too clearly at that moment. But yeah, I noticed that. I was like, wait, what? And then she's like looking for a flashlight and getting home. I'm like, did you lose your phone? Like, what happened? Because you could just turn that on. And then she finds the lamp. I mean, obviously it was so she could burn herself at the end. But I don't, it's just one of those
And
things
to
where you're
have
like,
light, but like I would have picked the lantern before a flashlight if the sun was about to go down.
I don't know. I would have just,
Because like a lantern, you can just put on a fucking table and it stays lit. A flashlight is going to be omnidirectional and just
yeah,
like focus on one fucking
yeah,
thing. And if you're scared of some kind of demon entity, whatever, like you would think you want something that would emanate light 360 degrees,
yeah. I don't know. There's
perhaps.
little things like that annoyed me about this movie. Um,
Yeah.
and the whole, like we get it, hurt people, and you know, eh, like we get it. We've all been there. We've we've all been involved with people that just come with a shit ton of baggage, and then like you
Sure.
know you you get to deal with the ramifications of that even when you're not with them. You're like, Jesus Christ.
The
And
fucking cat scene. The
yeah,
cat scene.
I knew it.
I
I knew.
actually laughed out loud and like this woman next to me like looked over and just gave me a look like, what is wrong with you? Because the second like the kid starts to unwrap it,
Hmm.
I looked at my husband and I was like, it's the cat.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's like, no
yep.
shit. And I'm like, I know. And then when he picked it up, I just couldn't help it. I laughed out loud.
Yeah,
Yeah, the rest the people around me didn't
didn't
like that.
appreciate that.
But it
It was
was
all
funny. And
what?
that also was like to me like a throwback to a lot of the 80s horror movies, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Like I miss that in horror movies. Like I don't not necessarily animal violence because I don't like that, but like that sort of just like what the fuck weird
yeah,
stuff.
that sort of
I
scare.
thought it was
I did think it
great.
was her fucking sister's uh reaction was fucking weird.
Oh my
Like
God.
like if I had a
Her
sibling,
sister was like the worst.
yeah, that was obviously going through some stuff, and I could tell, and like
Yeah.
our mother had, dealt with some
Yeah.
shit, and something like that happened, and her sister's like, I didn't, I would just, you would think you'd be like, honey, go grab the fucking little fuck trophy. And I'm gonna go like hug my sister and get her out of the fucking room so she doesn't have a complete
Oh,
meltdown in front of everybody.
dude. So like, yeah, leading up to that, like Mustache is kind of her like, man in a way.
Right.
Like, she comes home, she has the food, and you can tell she's worried and freaked out. So like anyone who knows her probably knows she cares about her animals.
Right.
But yeah, like if I went to my brother's kid's birthday party and one of them opened a present and like my fucking chihuahua was in it, he wouldn't start yelling at me.
Right.
He'd probably like run over and grab me and be like, "Oh my God." Like she's
Yeah.
about to fucking freak out because her dog is dead in this package and she loves her dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
But instead her sister's like, "I can't believe you." Like thinking her sister just like boxed up
Home.
a cat
Yeah. Oh,
in
this
a
will be
in a
funny.
in a in a in a train box. And that's
Yeah.
like a thing.
Yeah.
But maybe that plays on the thing that her sister was really like more fucked up than
Yeah. Maybe. I mean,
I don't
you could definitely
know.
analyze a lot of it, but yeah, I was just like, fucking go get first and foremost anything. Just get your sister the fuck out of there so it
Right.
doesn't cause some big giant fucking scene, you know, Like,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't going to be good for anyone. So I'm just going to get her out here and I can talk to her in person. But she was like, oh my God, how could you fucking do that? And like,
No, no, she's immediately like, how could you? Like,
yeah,
what sibling would immediately think
they did that on purpose.
that's right? Unless they're
Like,
like a serial killer.
right. Yeah.
That's not a normal, that's not,
Yeah.
that's
You would,
not a thing. You don't just give a kid a dead cat.
yeah. You would
Like,
think right
no
away.
one actually does that.
Yeah. You would
Serial killers don't even do that.
automatically think something's wrong with her. So, like, let's try and get the situation under control, not freak the fuck out. But,
Right. Yeah. Even
you
if
know,
you thought she did it on purpose, you'd be like, oh my God, like,
yeah.
what would
Yeah.
cause you to do that?
I mean, but bitches be crazy.
It was so
Bitches be
weird.
tripping sometimes. Oubliette in general.
Yeah.
In the general
It
sense of
was weird.
bitches, they be tripping. So I don't know.
Yeah. Her sister sucked. So,
Yeah, for
and that
sure.
kid, like, whatever. The dad, awful too. So,
Yeah,
but
this movie, it was something. I didn't hate it. I just knew exactly what it was from the jump.
no.
And it's not necessarily my favorite kind of movie. But I will say, like I said, it did a better job at this than the Babadook or It Follows in movies like that,
Dude,
in my opinion.
Babadook was so hyped up.
Yeah.
So hyped up. That is actually like the movie that made me stop watching hyped up movies
Mm-hmm.
because
The
and
best.
I think I waited like 6 months or maybe more to watch it. And I like got myself ready and I'm like, I'm gonna be freaked out because I am. I'm a fucking wuss and everything scares me. And I fucking watched that thing and all I wanted to do was kill the kid
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
time. I was
Yeah.
like, if this kid screams one more fucking time, like I can't do it.
Yeah.
It was so
The best thing to
mm-mm.
come out of that movie
That's why I don't
was
have children.
was the meme. And you could
Yeah.
apply that meme to anything. That was like the best thing
No,
to come out of the
totally.
movie because it was so annoying. Just the people in it, just everything about it. I didn't like it at all. And this movie
No.
did it much better. So it definitely get props for that. And I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the moral of the story in this is New Jersey can cause anyone to become crazy. And if you've been to New Jersey, you get it. You're
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
God.
New Jersey
Dude.
can make anyone insane. So,
As someone who lives very close and deals with the people who live
yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah,
The best was I picked up Charlie from the airport one time and I was like, New Jersey drivers are the worst. And he's like, everybody says that about people who live in a state next to them. And I'm like, yeah,
mm,
okay. And as we're leaving Newark Airport and we get on the freeway, there is a woman driving the wrong way on the freeway and just crashes head on, like into three cars that are in front of us. And he was like, oh my fucking God. And I'm like, that's nothing.
yeah,
Like 2 or 3 miles later, there's another car, and there's actually like a median that has like like a wall.
right,
There's a car that's just like balancing, about to fall over, that like got up on it. And
yeah,
he's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I can't explain it. It's something in the water or something, but it's different. I was like, and I've lived in like the deep South. I have lived in the Midwest in Wisconsin. I've lived all over. Like I have dealt with the richest of rich and the trashiest of trash, but Jersey is like the
it's
one
something else.
place that it's just totally on its own. The
It's
people
because
there are like you know if somebody's from Jersey,
it's
you know,
because, dude, it's
within
because
minutes.
because you can't make left hand turns. There's so many places where you can't make left hand turns, and it just fucks
It
everything
makes
up.
you crazy.
It does.
Okay.
Every time we played a show there, I'm like, what the fuck? I just want to make a left hand turn. And you can't for like miles. And you're
Miles,
like,
yeah.
dude, what the fuck? So that would make me insane
So
real
I'm
quick.
playing there on Thursday.
Yes,
And
you are.
like, so Andy was like, oh, I got us a hotel. And he's like, and since we're doing like a show that one of them's like a philanthropy type show. He's like, we're just all gonna stay in one room, and I got like a great deal. And I was like, can you just send me the hotel? Because outside of Asbury Park, I was like, you have watched the Jersey Shore, right? I was like,
Yeah.
and outside of that, he's like, it's outside of the beach. And I'm like, okay, so
Mm.
that's most of those areas are really bad. So he sends me the link, and I was like, did you just like Google the name and look at any of the reviews? And he's like, no. And I'm like, I'm just gonna send you the first three. So the hotel he got us, a third of the rooms are rented by the county for displaced
Right.
people. And all the reviews talk about like bullet holes in the wall, blood stains, not being able to sleep because so many people are smoking outside, so the whole room has like smoke coming in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Do you mind canceling that so I can get another room?" Which is funny because he's actually like a little, kind of
Prissy.
persnickety white boy. And he's like, I mean, this is a good deal. And he's like, but yeah, that's fine. So yeah,
Yeah.
I booked this at a bougie place on the beach, and if the band
Yeah.
doesn't want to pay for it, I'll fucking pay for it because honestly, like life's too
Yeah.
short. I'm 40 fucking years old. I work too fucking hard, and I want a hotel right next to the boardwalk and 2 blocks from where we're playing. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
You don't.
doing that. I'm not a teenager anymore, and like I just I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If you don't have to, there's no reason to.
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck no. But
So,
it was just
yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. What are
Jersey.
you going to say? Fucking, oh, funny story. Um,
Hmm.
Jersey Elvis. Like the first time we played, there's
Oh,
this guy, Jersey Elvis. He's
oh
this older
God.
guy, older gentleman, heavier guy. And we stopped and got some food. He was in the parking lot of a I don't know, like a fucking Dairy Queen or something. So anyway, he's he's singing. We're like, holy shit, fucking Jersey Elvis, fucking hanging out, talking to him. And he starts telling me some shit about Elvis that's totally wrong. He was just getting super mad at me and like so angry that I was not taking his word for anything. And it was just fucking amazing. There's this one picture that we had, and none of us know where it went, but it's a picture of him like, and he's looking at me and pointing, but he looks like really fucking pissed off. And it's like the best picture ever. And it's gone. We lost it somewhere. Someone has it on one of
No.
their. It was so fucking good. It was so good, but Jersey Elvis
Oh
was
shit.
not pleased with me. So
I'm
fucking
sure.
yeah. But anyway,
Jersey anyone.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. So all right, let's end the charade. What are we gonna give this movie?
I still need to talk about what
Oh,
happened.
that's right. You do. I totally forgot about that. Let's get to the real horror news.
So this this was actually it's funny. And it goes, I mean, with the movie obviously, but um when I was watching the movie it was funny because in the beginning the first woman who kills herself in front of the psychiatrist was talking about how every time she saw like a person or whoever give the smile, all she could feel was like dread, and it was so
Right.
irking. And it was funny because when she said that, I was like, man, it's weird. Like, at least in my experience, when stuff like that's like so crazy or scary or what the fuck, like your brain actually doesn't process it as real. So you're like,
Right.
okay, this is someone messing with me, and you just like, wait. And in retrospect, like some of the scariest moments in my life were like that, like even, like crazy violent things or whatever. It's like I feel like maybe it's not everyone. Maybe it's just I am someone who tends to like not freak out and like diffuse situations. So maybe it's how I react to things. But
Hmm.
it's funny because I'm also a huge titty baby when it comes to paranormal stuff and whatever. And
Did you just say titty
it
baby?
titty baby, yeah. Like sucking on the
Yeah,
teat,
yeah.
you know? Yeah. That was a
So
term my dad used to use when we like were being babies about stuff.
being
He'd be
titty
like, "What are
babies.
you, titty baby?" Yeah.
I like it.
So, anyways, there's a glimpse into my childhood. Uh, So, I mean, to be candid, like at least once a week, like I wake up in the middle of the night and the closet door in my bedroom's always open, and I always like feel like I see a shadow and freak out. So, just so you know, I am somebody with an active imagination who
You're
gets freaked
afraid
out.
of the closet monster.
Oh, yeah, like I won't hang one of my feet outside the covers like lower than my bed because I know somebody will grab my ankle, like for sure.
Oh, they totally
Like,
will.
there's
Yeah.
definitely something around that would. So, yeah, yeah, I have
Yeah.
my things. Um, so one of the things I always hate is going into a movie theater bathroom when I'm the only one there, especially when I'm seeing a horror movie. Like
Right.
ever since I saw Candyman, I'm just like fucked from bathrooms. So it was funny because during the movie I had to go and I went in and I was the only one and I was like a trooper and didn't get scared and I was proud of myself. So our theater is very lightly staffed and it's only teenagers. So
Awesome. Right.
I've learned the hard way that most stalls never have toilet paper.
Yeah.
So the movie's over. My husband's like, I have to go pee. And I was like, I might as well too. So, like, movie theater bathrooms, most of them, you know how you kind of like walk in and like whip around the corner. They have like that. So, I I go in as I'm whipping around the corner, I kind of like can tell somebody is behind me and they like get real close but then hang back. And I end up I look at one of the stalls that had toilet paper earlier and it doesn't anymore. Another one and it doesn't. So the only one that does is the very first stall and the fucking door is kind of when you close it, the reason I used it the first time is it goes sideways a little bit. So there's like a giant crack, which like
Right.
not that there's like a lot of weirdos in the bathroom, but like you can just look right in. I was like, fuck it. So like, and the person didn't come all the way in the bathroom. They like stayed by the door. I didn't really think much of it. So I went in the first bathroom. Like right when I sit down to pee, they come in and like this stall is directly across from the first hand sink. So they like walk in and they kind of touch the sink, but then they turn around. And she has like
that's
long
weird.
hair. Oh, it's weird. So she has long hair and like an army jacket on and black pants, but she like drops her head. So her hair is hanging down like in front of her face. And of course, you know, like my active imagination, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. And I'm like, no, Courtney, she's probably just on her phone. You just can't see the phone.
Right.
And that's why her head's down. Like, it's not a big deal. But then I see her hands, and her hands are like fiddling and shaking, like almost like, you know, like she's rubbing her hands and like really weird. And she's not like going in any of the stalls. We are the only people in the bathroom. And I'm like, this is like, what the fuck? And I'm like, maybe she thinks her friend's in and she's waiting for her friend. I'm just trying to like rationalize.
Dude, she's just a fan of Tsunami Bomb
No. So
or Monster Candy podcast.
that maybe. So then like fast as fuck, she just like runs out.
That's a
And
weird.
like as she's running out, she like hits her shoulder on the like
The corner.
yeah. So at this point, like I don't even think I've started peeing because I'm just like,
Like, what the fuck?
what the fuck? Yeah. And I'm totally rationalizing it, like this fucking drug addict, like what the fuck, like or you know, trying to think
Right.
what's going on. So then I'm like, I'm gonna pee. As I start peeing, almost in slow motion, she walks back in with her head hanging all the way down and her hair in front of her face, like the ring. I mean, just like not like her hair kind of in her face, like her
Right.
hair,
Like all in her face.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm just gonna text Christian, my husband, like
Right.
just walk in the girl's bathroom because if he just walks in, she'll run out. And I'm like, no, fuck that, because he's gonna be like, you pussy, like he's gonna be like, first he's
Quit being
gonna
a
be
titty
like,
baby.
no. Well, no, first he's gonna be like, no, I'm not walking in the girl's bathroom, and then I'm gonna be like, well, some shit's going on, and then he's gonna be like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna look like some kind of creep, you know? So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna text him. And I was like, you know what? Like, fuck this. I could tell she's smaller than me. Like, she's much smaller than me. And I was like, I'm just gonna open the door fast. I'm not even gonna wash my hands and just be like, you know, peace.
Right.
So I swear to God, this fucking happened. It's so weird. So I open the door like really fast. and her head's still down. And she's like, is there a black and yellow wallet in the stall? And immediately I'm like, oh, that's why her hands
Right.
were like freaking out. And that's why she was acting antsy. Then she lifts her head up. She has red makeup and a smile all the way up her lips and has like her eyes completely painted blacked out.
Uh-huh.
She's like actually a super attractive little like goth girl.
Right.
But and then she just looks at me and smiles and starts giggling. And
Teenagers
I'm
having
like,
fun.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding? And she's like, I need my wallet. And I was like, well, you can go fucking look for it. And I just walked out. So like I walk out and I'm telling my husband, and he's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of other teenage girls with like their faces painted. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, she's probably friends with them. And I see them and they're walking into a movie. And we start walking out. She comes out of the bathroom and walks past us. And I'm like, she's not friends with them because she's fucking right there. So she gets into a car like 3 cars down from us with like a 60-year-old guy in like an all black suit and black sunglasses. And this is at like midnight.
Hell yeah.
And it was so fucking weird. It was so fucking weird without a wallet. It was
Yeah.
just so weird.
Yeah.
But she did like the same. So I don't know if she was playing a prank or if she's just like a fucking
Weirdo.
teenager that was like,
Yeah.
yes. But she had the fucking, and it wasn't just like like it looked like she was cut into a smile.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm sure she was just goofing on everybody, or maybe not. I
Why
don't
is she
know.
hanging out with like a 60-year-old in a suit that drove off in a Mercedes, like a new Mercedes?
I mean, maybe she was a lot older than she looked.
Lizard people.
Lizard
No,
people.
she was like 14 or 15,
Maybe.
maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. You never know.
Dude, she was.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't know. But it was so weird because, like, I mean, when I shoved the door open, kind of whatever, she like also like backed up and apologized to me at one point
Yeah.
because I think she saw it in my eye that I was like,
The
I'm
fuck
fucking
is
bigger than you.
Yeah.
I'm older than you, and like this is not this isn't the situation you want.
I
it
ain't
to
the
be.
one,
Like,
little girl.
yeah, like I'm up past my bedtime.
Yeah. I'm old and cranky. You're
This
fucking
movie
with the
was
wrong person.
pretty good. This movie was pretty good, but not great. Now I have like 1 hour less of sleep. So like,
and I
you
don't need
better
your
fucking
shit.
find someone else. Yeah, exactly. But
Well,
yeah, so that was my real life horror news, and it was
yeah, that's pretty
so
good.
fucking weird. But but what was even weirder is when I was like to my husband, like, that's her that just walked by and she's getting in the car with the guy. My husband's like, what are you talking about? That guy's in the car by himself. And I'm like, why would you? I'm like, I was like, you really didn't see the girl with like fucking a smile, like makeup cut in her face? And he's like, no. And I was like, I fucking hate you. Like,
No,
I
he's
hate
fucking
you. We're
with you.
getting divorced. But he still stands by it. He's
Well,
like, I
you
didn't
know.
see anyone else.
Sometimes you got to keep a joke running.
Yeah, but what was funny is I read something about how the movie was actually paying people to show up at like sports games
Yeah,
and different
yeah.
stuff and get on the camera, and well, I didn't know
Smile.
about that. And then I was like, do you think they would go as far as like actually but no,
Yeah,
they
maybe.
wouldn't. It's like some tiny theater.
Who knows?
I don't
Maybe
know, but I'm just gonna believe it because otherwise I'm like real weirded out.
Well, so what are you gonna give this little titty? What would you call it? Titty baby. This little movie
Titty
that made you
baby.
titty baby.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay. All right. 3 crazy zombie candy corns.
Yeah, it did it
Smiling.
better than a lot of movies, and it didn't. Although I'm tired of the whole thing about people with mental problems and
Right.
everything else, safe space, blah blah. I think that they did it well, although I hated the cop.
Yeah. Okay. I could get down with that. I'm gonna give it 2 crazy zombie smiley candy corns because I thought it was done well. And like you said, it did it a lot better than a lot of other movies that have tried to do it. For me, like it's not my kind of a movie per se, but I could totally see how people would be super into this movie and really like it. So, even when a movie is not my kind of thing, but I can see how people would dig it. I'm like, well, they did something right. So there's that. So yeah. And, I wish it actually would have just been like a more solid supernatural curse type movie.
Mhm.
But for what it was, I don't know. It did what it did well. So I'll give it a 2. There's been worse movies for sure.
I mean, I would
So,
watch it again. I don't think
yeah.
I would actively like seek to watch it again, but
Right.
if it was on again or someone else is watching it, I wouldn't be like, I have to watch it again. Like there was some cool stuff. I thought
Yeah.
the visuals were good. The effects were good.
Yeah.
The gore that there was, I think, was done well. The guy, like the teacher who bashed his face in when they showed that picture, that was
Yeah.
pretty rad.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it did a lot of stuff well.
So
So
it's fun.
yeah, I mean, I would suggest people go see it if they're
Well,
if
especially
they so
like if you're
choose.
looking for something to see in the theater and you like
Yeah.
jump scary.
Yeah.
It's also a movie that you can take in a way you can make it your own. Like you don't have to go the mental health route if you don't want to. And you could totally just watch it as like a superficial kind of like jump scare. There's some sort of thing that they don't explain that's, taking over. It's fun. Like despite it being kind of serious topically.
Yeah.
I found like I had fun watching it.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Well, yeah. I
this
think
one,
we both.
I don't regret it.
Yeah. There you go. And that's all you can really ask. So, yeah.
Don't
check-
forget to smile.
Do what Oobliette says, or else, because they'll never find the body.
Smile right now.
God damn it.
And kick ass.
Thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you next time for another episode of
Hello,
Monster
Mr.
Candy
Fancy
Podcast.
I hear you looking for candy,
Yep.
man, bitch.
And smiles are
Give me some
creepy. That's why I support this movie.
Want some candy?
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight? We don't have to be mean.
Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat. Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Want some candy?